appropriate way of beginning this celebration than asking our various alumni classes who are able to process in. 1989. Let's express our appreciation of the class of 1989. They are immediately followed by the class of 1994. Certainly, we express our appreciation of the class of 1999. Some of them have to strut in, you know, as they followed by the class of 2004. Young ladies we always refer to as the twins. And next, the class of 2009. And finally, the class of 2014. We'll salute them at the breakfast table. We are, in fact, that which makes us uniquely Tuskegee University. And at this time, we will begin our official line of march. We will ask those of you with electronic devices, and who in our world does not possess an electronic device, to put them in their silent, vibrate, or off position. You may remain seated until such time that the President is acknowledged. Ladies and gentlemen, the President's senior leadership team. We now acknowledge the Administrative Staff Council. Offering leadership to our university, colleges, and schools, the academic deans. And of course, the esteemed faculty of Tuskegee University. the platform party at this time. Our guest speaker for the morning, Dr. Alma Adams. Let us stand. Ladies and gentlemen, the 10th President, CEO, and first alumni delegated President of Tuskegee University, Dr. Mark Brown. Our prelude is entitled Transcendental Etude Number 10, Appassionata, by composer Franz Liszt, performed by Dr. E. Chang.
Good morning, Tuskegee family. Good morning. Welcome to the Centennial, the 100th homecoming celebration and convocation of your own Mother Tuskegee. It is a beautiful thing to see the sons and daughters of Booker T. I want to bring special greetings to the chairwoman of our Board of Trustees, Ms. Norma Clayton, as well as all of the other Board of Trustee members, our distinguished and my fellow alumnus, family, friends, and especially of our students. And to the Black Intellectual Brain Trust that keeps this university running, our cabinet members, our deans, our faculty, our administrators, thank you for being here. And a special welcome to all of you who are returning. Specifically, our distinguished speaker, Congresswoman Alma Adams, and we will have more to say about our Congresswoman and her service to this nation a little bit later in the program. But before we begin our convocation, I do have a very special announcement and a request of you all. As you all may have heard, early this morning, a shooting occurred on our campus, resulting in the death of a non-university individual. The parents of this individual have been notified. Several others, including Tuskegee University students, were injured and are receiving treatment at our hospitals around the state. The Alabama Bureau of Investigation is conducting an active investigation even as we speak. The university is continuing its process of completing student accountability and notifying parents as you would expect us to do. I now ask that you would join me in a brief moment of silence as we reflect on the lost soul and the parents, family members, and friends that grieve, the concerns of all those parents who have children here for the safety of their students, and our student and faculties who may also grieve at this moment. If you will, just please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you very much. The tradition of homecoming at Tuskegee University began in the early 1900s, 1924 to be exact. Tuskegee was only 43 years old. The Golden Tigers football team had already formed. Indeed, we were called the Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute. We were already a member of the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Head coach, Cleveland Abbott, of whom our stadium is named. Record, 9-0. We won the SIAC championship that year. We shut out 6 of our 10 opponents, and we outscored all opponents by a total score of 301 to 25. That's the kind of math we like at Tuskegee. This began the homecoming tradition, per se, at Tuskegee, which culminates 100 years later in today's ceremony at our Centennial Homecoming Convocation. Why don't you give yourself a round of applause? We're still here, 1 century later. Our purpose for homecoming was to welcome back alumni, connect them to today's students in many wonderful traditions that make up what we affectionately call the Tuskegee experience. Today's homecoming convocation celebrates the remarkable achievements of our alumni, many of whom continue to invest in the university today. As we honor these philanthropists and reflect on the value of Mother Tuskegee, let us remember that each of us bears responsibility to leave for future generations what our ancestors left for us. They left us Mother Tuskegee, a thriving university built by us, for us, brick by brick, in the stands that you set, with achievements and talents that we all know have changed the world. Our ancestors, in their time, improved the human condition and did so in a manner that honors the worthiness and dignity of all mankind. And so we convocate to make public recognition of those who continue to build on this amazing legacy. With that, I welcome you again, and I'm honored to bring you our very own chaplain for this morning's invocation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Dean of the Chapel, Dean Gregory S. Gray.
Let us pray. O God, who from everlasting to everlasting art God, you for whom 1,000 years is one day, and for whom one day is 1,000 years, you beside whom there is none other, we are grateful beyond measure and beyond compare for this Centennial homecoming weekend here at historic Tuskegee University. A celebration of 100 years that can mean 1,000 things to 10,000 people. We're grateful for the unprecedented way this occasion expresses not only our history and our heritage, but our hope, and our hope, and our hope. Let nothing that has occurred this weekend lessen or diminish that hope. Grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. May the torch of leadership, which has been passed from Washington to Moten to Patterson, to Foster to Peyton to Rochon, to Johnson to McNair to Morris, and now to Brown, may that torch ever brighten the path that leads us homeward to Tuskegee and offer us a vision of the more excellent way, the more excellent way, the more excellent way, for the sake of which we pray. May the people of God say amen.
Mr. President, Madam Speaker, distinguished guests, dignitaries in attendance, faculty, staff, students, and reunion classes. On behalf of the Tuskegee University Board of Trustees, it is my honor to welcome you to this homecoming convocation service. My heart is very heavy this morning, but while I am with a heavy heart, I am also resolved in knowing that God is still on the throne and He is still in control. So my condolences go out to the families and to this community, but I also know that we will get through this together, because in tough times, tough people band together and they survive. And we've been surviving for 143 years. I think we can continue to survive even more. Today we come together not only to commemorate the achievements of this university today, but also to honor the remarkable contributions of you, our alumni, who have walked these hallowed grounds and helped to shape this university's legacy for 143 years. To our reunion classes, we extend a heartfelt welcome, and we thank you for your support and dedication to helping to make Mother Tuskegee stronger today and for generations to come. Your presence this past weekend and today is a testament to the strong bonds that were formed during your time with us, bonds that have transcended time and distance. We are grateful for the path that you have carved in your respective fields and the positive impact that you continue to have in your communities and throughout the world. A special thanks also goes to our distinguished guests whose support and dedication continue to bolster the mission of this great university. Your presence signifies the influential partnerships that we have forged over the years, partnerships that are essential for the growth and success of this university, its students, and our communities. We spent the last couple of days reflecting on the past. Let us now celebrate the innovations and the advancements that defined our present. Our university is continuing to evolve. We have new leadership, a new vision to take us forward. That vision is shared by a commitment to excellence in education, research, and service. Together, we are cultivating future leaders who will carry our values forward and address the challenges of tomorrow. May we continue to inspire one another in this objectives. As we look ahead, we will do so united around one vision for a bright future for Tuskegee and generations to come. Thank you for being here today, and together let us continue to elevate the spirit this institution has and foster the legacy of achievement and service to the world. Go in peace, and may God bless you all.
Good morning. Good morning to our Tuskegee University family, alumni, students, faculty, and honored guests. I am Amari Christopher Hardy, a graduating senior accounting major from Tallahassee, Florida, currently serving as the 66th Executive Student Government Association President. It is a privilege to stand before you today as we gather for this historical Centennial Homecoming Convocation. I come before you on behalf of our Mr. and Miss Tuskegee University, who regretfully couldn't attend due to the unforeseen incidents last night. Additionally, Dr. Rolandis Rice, our Chief Operating Officer and Vice President of Student Affairs, our esteemed leader, is unable to join us as he's dedicating his time to visiting and supporting those affected in the hospital today. We hold both of their efforts in the highest regard and carry their spirit with us today. Today, as we commemorate the 100 years of Tuskegee homecoming celebrations, we acknowledge that our gathering is shadowed by a heartbreaking event. Last night at our beloved West Campus, we experienced a tragedy that has left us all shaken. This senseless act of violence has touched each of us. Whether directly or indirectly, we extend our deepest sympathies to the victims and their families, and we stand united in our commitment to supporting each and every one of us. Yet as we come together in the spirit of Mother Tuskegee, we are reminded of the resilience that has always defined our community. We are a family bound by a legacy of strength, unity, and a vision for a brighter future. Our founder, Booker T. Washington, inspired generations with his conviction that education and perseverance could uplift not only individuals, but entire communities. Today, we embody that spirit, ladies and gentlemen. As we lean on one another, find that strength, find the love, and move accordingly. Let us use this time to reflect on our mission and recommit to the ideals that make us who we are, Golden Tigers. As we honor 100 years of homecoming, let us also honor commitment to each other, to our community, and to the values that have guided Tuskegee University through all seasons of both joy and sorrow. May we continue forward with courage, resilience, and a determination to foster a safe and supportive environment for every member of our Golden Tiger community and family. Personally, I want to thank the President's Cabinet, the faculty, the staff, Dr. Brown, for your leadership in this moment, as I know we will get through it. Thank you, and let us stand together in this moment. TU.
Good morning. In light of what Mr. Hardy just referenced and the President, the choir is not here with us this morning, but we do have two choir members who will represent the choir. The first is Imani Mason, who will sing Deep River. I'm sorry, Imani Edwards. Imani Edwards a former student, Mason. Imani Edwards, who will sing Deep River, and later you will hear from Carrington Thompson, who will sing Safe in His Arms.
You know, if you want to know about our students, people will question the students at Tuskegee University. I offer example one, Amari Hart. No matter how hard I try, if I say I am, like he does, it won't come off the right way. Something's different. In the scriptures, we can find multiple references to this question. How will you know them? You will know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. Said differently, know them by their work and not their words. Today's convocation is in large part about doing the work that ensures the continuity of our university. That said, we needed to find a speaker who is invested in the future of historically black colleges and universities, and certainly Mother Tuskegee. Congresswoman Alma Adams is affectionately called the godmother of HBCUs. Now, she's done the work to earn that title. And I got to tell you, if you want to know about what kind of hats you want to wear, this is the person you need to talk to. Representative Adams is a graduate of North Carolina Agricultural and Technical University. She also taught art at Benedict College for some 40 years. She's focused much of her legislative work on the improvement and sustainment of historically black college universities and their students, and that certainly includes Mother Tuskegee. She's the founding member of the HBCU caucus. Her work with the HBCU Capital Finance Debt Relief Act has profoundly changed the trajectory of all HBCUs, including ours. This includes the largest expansion of the Pell Grant program in a decade, and the forgiveness of capital financing loans used by HBCUs to build educational and dorm facilities. This historic legislation eliminated $1.3 billion in HBCU loans, including $100 million from the books of Tuskegee. Representative Adams is also a champion of simplifying the free application from federal student aid, and every parent here thanks you for that. But you need to know that that is resources provided to over 60% of our students. She's the co-founder and co-chair of the Black Maternal Health Caucus. These are the same issues like addressing healthcare disparities that we care deeply about at Tuskegee, and we show that in our research. Representative Adams has been a tireless advocate for quality education. She introduced a landmark package to address maternal health disparities and has been a driving force behind legislation supporting nutritious school breakfasts, increased teacher pay, and civic engagement among students. So I want to begin exactly where I started. How will you know them? In the case of our speaker, we know Congresswoman Adams by the work that she has continued to do for HBCUs, including Mother Tuskegee. We are so grateful for her leadership. Let's give a Tuskegee welcome to Dr. Alma C. Adams, Congresswoman for the 12th Congressional District of North Carolina. To you.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Brown. Well, let me do it to you. Right. In Charlotte, I represent JCSU, and we always say JC, and they say SU. So that reminds me a lot of my district. And to all of the Golden Tigers, to all of the alums and to our faculty and staff, to Madam Trustee Chair Clayton, to all of the alums, to the students, to Brother President, thank you. So let's give it up for this young man. To all of the friends of Tuskegee University, to this community. And let me just say, Dr. Brown, and to all of you, I certainly share the loss and pray for this campus, for your students, and for this community. And let me just say how delighted I am to be here. This is the day that the Lord has made. I thank him for the opportunity to not only serve the citizens of North Carolina, but the opportunity to be here. I thank him for allowing me to get here. My Deputy Chief, Sandra Brown, drove me all this way. I appreciate that. Stand up, Ms. Brown. I know they've talked to you on the phone. But Sandra's been with me for probably 17 or 18 years, following me from the State House all the way to the U.S. House. But I thank God for the opportunity because I know that it has not been because of any good or gracious thing that I might have done that he's allowed me to be here and for all of us to assemble for this centennial. Wow, 100 years. 100 years, and of course the school itself, 143 years. What an incredible history you have. Let me bring you greetings on behalf of all of my colleagues in the U.S. House of Representatives, Speaker Mike Johnson, Democrat Leader Hakeem Jeffries, the Congressional Black Caucus, known as the conscience of the Congress, the bipartisan HBCU caucus, of which I'm proud to have founded and still co-chair, and from the 700,000+ citizens of the 12th Congressional District in Charlotte, North Carolina, Mecklenburg County, I do bring you greetings again as well from the HBCU in my district, Johnson C. Smith University. Congratulations to the 2024 Alumni Merit Award recipients, Karen Dyson and Irving McConnell, and to all of the reunion classes that are in celebration with us today. As I came in, I saw all of the tailgaters out there, so I might have to stop on my way out, you know. But let me just say it's good to be back among the Tuskegee family and in the home state of my colleagues who represent Tuskegee and Alabama, particularly Terry Sewell, whose tireless efforts paved the way for the historic election of Alabama's second black member of Congress, Congressman Elite Shamari Figures. You know, I always wonder, what's up, Alabama? We got to get some things right here. But President Brown and to the leadership of Tuskegee, thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the invitation to join you at the conclusion of your Centennial Homecoming Convocation Charter Day. And thank you once again, Tuskegee, for honoring me with the Booker T. Washington Award in Leadership and Education back in March at your gala in Atlanta. I appreciate that very much. You know, as a two-time graduate of North Carolina A&T State University, home of GHO, you all know, the greatest homecoming on earth. And after 40 years as professor of art at Bennett College in Greensboro, North Carolina, any bells announced, I do know how significant homecoming is for HBCUs. That's a specialty with us. And dare I say, there's nothing like it on the planet. You know, homecoming is our time to reunite, to reconnect, and to relive our college days. But it's also a time to celebrate our progress. Indeed, as I look at the rich history of Tuskegee, you have been progressive and you have been working. So congratulations to you, Golden Tigers, on this historic milestone, and to you, Dr. Brown, for your first of many homecoming celebrations, for being the first alumnus to serve as president of this esteemed university. And for your tenure as Tuskegee's 10th president, and for the school's 143 years as a catalyst in our society. I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge any elected officials who may be here, who are in the audience today, and thank you all for your service. Now, before I begin, let me just address the elephant in the room. No, we didn't elect our first HBCU woman president on Tuesday, but we still have power in our voices. We have the right and the responsibility, as Michelle Obama has said, to do something. I was delighted as I came in and talked with your student government president, and he was telling me that, I said, listen, you know, I was on the campus for 40 years. I served 5 presidents at Bennett College, and one of the slogans that we embarked upon was Bennett bells are voting bells, because I believe that everything is about who we vote for and what they vote for after you vote for them. So I just thank Mr. President over there for all that he did to turn out the Golden Tigers here at Tuskegee. You know, yeah, let's give it up for him. You know, because we have to hold elected officials accountable, including Alma Adams. You know, we live in a state, you live in a state, and still, that has not expanded Medicaid in accordance with the Affordable Care Act to include greater numbers of people living or at below the poverty level. And so, Tuskegee, I know about your School of Nursing and your allied health program and all that you're continuing to do. I do work on 4-H's. I have a 4-H program that I talk about housing, healthcare, higher education, and hunger. All of those things are so important to not only my district in North Carolina, but I suspect to the areas here in and around Tuskegee. But so I challenge you, all of you here in this great institution, to not go gently into the good night, but to fight back by ensuring that justice continues to be carried out, because that's what your forefathers did. You know, I was reading a little bit about the Black Belt Food Corridor, and so I'm just proud to know that you are paying attention to the needs in your community, and Tuskegee is doing something about it. Because I remember as I was reading the book of Booker T. Washington, and thank you so much, Mr. President, for sharing that with me, when he says that success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life, as by the obstacles which he or she has overcome. And clearly we know, as we think about our ancestors, as we think about all that Booker T. Washington did to start this university, clearly there were obstacles. But I believe that obstacles are merely stepping stones to where you need to get to go. And so today I do join you honoring your past because of the pivotal role that this esteemed university has played in our history and in America's history since its founding in 1881, from medicine to the armed forces. In fact, it was almost a year ago that I had the privilege of honoring the life of Tuskegee Airmen and World War II combatant 2nd Lieutenant Fred Brewer. He was from Charlotte. His remains were returned to Charlotte after 75 years. He went into the Air Force as a young man at 24 years old. He was born there, and his final rest and interment was last December, and I was glad and happy that my office had a lot to do with not only bringing him back, but getting his final resting place. You know, also I just want to mention and say that we've had connections also with Tuskegee because your past president, Dr. Charlotte Morris, we recently honored her during the HBCU when we had our foundation weekend for the HBCU Leadership Award. But you know, there's a saying today that we are our ancestors' wildest dreams. And I'm sure that Booker T. Washington is smiling today at all that this university has accomplished since its founding. What he created almost a century plus 4 decades ago became a hub of black academia and leadership, and it produced many notable alumni, including Lionel Richie and Tom Joyner, Ricky Smiley, Betty Shabazz, Ralph Ellison, and of course, my colleague in the Congress, Al Green of Texas. And like so many of our HBCUs, as one of our 19 land-grant universities, Tuskegee has been at the forefront of change for our nation. You have a fine nursing school, and as I mentioned, your allied science and many other programs. And of course, all eyes have been on HBCUs since Vice President Harris became a viable candidate in our presidential election. And I applaud her for not only the work that she did. I worked with her as she was a member of the United States Senate, but also as she had served and continues to serve as our vice president. But simply put, our schools are more relevant today than ever, and they will play a vital role in how America charts a new way forward, from shaping our nation's leaders to driving inclusive research in medical trials. And so when you look at the history of why HBCUs exist, there's no question of the value that they hold in the African American community and in ensuring that black and brown students have the types of nurturing environments that set them up for long-time success. And you know, HBCUs have been at the cornerstone of the African American community for almost 2 centuries. The oldest HBCU is almost 200 years old. You know, we have believed throughout our existence in opportunity and the fundamental importance of education that W.E.B. Du Bois talked about when he said, of all of the civil rights for which the world has struggled and fought for 500 years, the right to learn is undoubtedly the most fundamental. And so for these institutions, for almost 2 centuries, you've invested in that fundamental right, and you've long been the catalyst for economic growth and career advancement in our communities. And I can personally attest to how attending North Carolina A&T State University changed the trajectory of my life. And that's why this work is so very personal to me. I don't apologize for it. I am HBCU strong, and I am proud of that fact. And today I wouldn't be standing before you Today I would not be standing before you as a member of Congress had it not been for the indescribable sense of community that I felt at North Carolina A&T, the way the faculty and the staff poured into my development. I truly thank all of the faculty and staff. I've been there, done that, and know what you do. You know, like many of you, I was the first in my family to go to college. My mother didn't finish high school. She didn't attend an HBCU or any CU for that matter. But she was an intelligent black woman who understood the pivotal role that education could and would play in my life, and indeed, it has been my pathway. My mother was a domestic worker. For those who may not know, she cleaned other folks' houses so that I wouldn't have to, and I probably need to clean up a little bit more. But she didn't let her work or her limit define her. And as we say to our students, you are not your circumstance. And where you start out in life doesn't have to determine where you'll end up or just how far you can go. And she understood, too, that she was not her circumstance. And so I owe so much to my HBCU alma mater for making space for this poor black girl who walked those ghetto streets of Newark, New Jersey, and now I'm able to walk the halls of Congress. Now, but as I was talking to some of the trustees this morning and bragging a little bit about the 12 honorary degrees I have from HBCUs and the one I earned from a major majority culture, The Ohio State University, but I was only able to go to The Ohio State University and to get that PhD, but only because of the North Carolina A&T and HBCU. My school, as our alma maters do, allowed me to embrace my love for art and for education, and for instilling in me a deep love for our people, for our communities and our causes. My HBCU education has been the pathway for me to serve on the school board, the city council, the state house, and now, just elected a few days ago, to my 6th term in the U.S. House. And you know, the Lord does not put you in positions like the position I have, but only for me to serve, but to serve others. And that's been my goal. And so, to all of the young people out here, to whom much is given, much is required. And that's why I continue to fight for our schools in the U.S. Congress. And today, I have the privilege to use my voice and my vote to push for ways to invest in HBCUs for the future and to give back to the community of schools that gave so much to me. And had I not walked those hallowed halls at North Carolina A&T, I would not have been able to, as I said, complete that degree at The Ohio State University. That was just not the expectation for someone like me. But God, by His grace, by my mother's unwavering faith, a poor black woman, but who believed in the everlasting, who nurtured and helped me. And North Carolina A&T nurtured me at A&T. My mind was open to the possibilities that lie ahead. And that's why I will forever be HBCU strong. And I don't care what anybody says about it. I am unapologetically HBCU strong. But you know, I'm about to share something with you that you probably already know. Typically, our schools have fewer resources, and federal investments, we have fewer than our counterparts. And we've been too often undervalued by our government and the broader society. We often say that our schools punch above their weight. We do, which leaves the physical and the academic infrastructures sometimes at a disadvantage when preparing students for the future, especially for careers in STEM. And I know you all do a great job with your STEM programs. And so currently we have approximately 600,000 unfilled cybersecurity, engineering, and emerging technology jobs in the U.S. Yet African Americans and Latinos and American Indians and Alaskan Natives are exceedingly unrepresented in engineering alone. Now, we know that HBCUs produce 25% of African American graduates in STEM fields, many of them coming right out of here, Tuskegee, 40% of black engineers, 80% of black judges, 50% of black lawyers and teachers, 50% of black doctors. Additionally, an HBCU graduate, think about it, working full-time throughout their career can expect to earn $927,000 in additional income. That's why these young folks need to go to school, okay? And so that's why investing in an HBCU is a profitable venture, because young folks like Amari, they don't have to go back home and live with their parents, right? He's already told me he's got a big job. Black job, he's got a big job, okay? But look, we see examples of that right here at Tuskegee. Tuskegee, as the #1 HBCU for social and economic mobility, the #3 HBCU in the nation overall, with the highest graduation of any school in the state of Alabama. As one of the leading producers of black engineering graduates in chemical and electrical and mechanical engineering. as the #1 producer of black PhD holders in materials sciences and engineering, and more black general officers in the military than any other institution. And to all of our veterans out there, we'll be celebrating Veterans Day tomorrow. So thank you for your service. And one more thing, as the largest producer of black students with BAs in math, science, and engineering in the whole state of Alabama. You go Tuskegee. Listen, these are the things that our founding fathers dreamt of in 1881, 143 years ago, and that's what we're working on in Congress to preserve. And yet our colleges and universities continue to be underfunded, despite their estimated $15 billion economic impact to the states and the communities where they are based. So if we are to increase diversity in these fields, then it only makes sense to me that HBCUs are prioritized as part of the solution. And that's especially true in the trend of revoking or reconstructing DEI programs. You all know there's a whole lot going on, probably will go on, and we need to keep our eyes on in terms of the impact that it would have on higher education and corporate America. And that's why I founded the Bipartisan HBCU Caucus in 2015, to raise awareness nationally and to raise awareness among members of Congress. Believe it or not, I have colleagues who, they didn't know HBC what, they say. They didn't even know what we were talking about. But, you know, listen, I retired from Bennett College in 2012 after 40 years, but I'm still educating in Congress. Okay? And so it's important to note that the importance of having this type of support in the House and in the Senate, it's not an easy feat in such a divided Congress. As a matter of fact, not just a divided Congress, but as a result of this election, we have a divided nation. And we all need to be a part of trying to resolve that issue. But yet, we still got there. Because the impact of HBCUs cannot be ignored or understated. And my mission, like yours, is to ensure that we have equity in higher education, not just with programming and admissions and hiring, but with infrastructure and research opportunities as well. And that's why in 2018, I introduced the provision to the Farm Bill to create centers of excellence at 1890 universities. I know you're an 1890 school, Dr. Brown. And these centers have been promised to 1890 institutions for more than 30 years, and it didn't happen. But thanks to a collaborative effort with Senator Sherrod Brown, and I'm sorry he didn't win his election, Sherrod Brown of Ohio, these centers have helped to fund programs like your own Center for Innovation and Sustainable Small Farms, Ranches, and Forest Lands. And it's also the reason, despite the credit others like to take, I did introduce H.R. 5363, Fostering Undergraduate Talent by Unlocking Resources for Education, or what's called the Future Act. That's Alma Adams' bill. Now, this is it's a landmark. It was a landmark bill. It is now law. It permanently provides $255 million a year for funding all minority-serving institutions, and including $85 million for HBCUs. And as has been said, it does increases the authorization of Pell Grant appropriations, and I am continuing to try to find ways to make sure that we make up for the disparity. In 2020, H.R. 7380, which was my bill as well, the HBCU Capital Finance Debt Relief Act was included in the fiscal year omnibus package for 2021. It canceled over, as you've heard, $1.3 billion in debt held by HBCUs, and it provided Tuskegee with millions of dollars, and I'm grateful that it did, to help bring you financially from the red into the black. You know, so black can be a good thing, right? And earlier this year, I introduced Realizing Excellence in Institutional Grants, New Infrastructure, Technology, and Education. That was really a rewrite of my Ignite bill, Institutional Grants for New Infrastructure, Technology, and Education. I put a re in front of it. Realizing Excellence still has the same purpose, and that is to ensure that our schools, particularly schools like Tuskegee, have the necessary resources that will provide the state-of-the-art facilities for our students to learn and our faculty to work. And passing it for this 119th Congress, which begins in a few weeks, is at the top of my agenda. I know how to work across the aisle. I've always done that, and I know that that's particularly will be necessary as we move into this next Congress. So the Congressional Black Caucus and the HBCU caucus have also been working closely with members of the Biden-Harris administration to hopefully, we got a few more months, maybe we can get some things done before they get out of there, to explore ways to direct funding towards our schools. But I'm still of the opinion, I know we're in church, but I'm still of the opinion that student debt is just too damn high. So now, we pledge to continue our HBCU work with this new administration. And that's how I'm investing in the future of Tuskegee and all of our HBCUs, because service is indeed the rent we pay for living on God's earth. I've tried to keep my rent fully paid up, and I know I paid some for some other folks, but that's all right too. But let me just say in closing, Dr. Brown, and to all of the alums and folks who are here today, I want to thank you for keeping your rent fully paid up. And let me remind you again that as we have gathered this homecoming weekend, honoring our past, investing in our future, the Tuskegee way, we can never forget that our schools were built for a time such as this. A time when kids that looked like me couldn't go into the other doors. But it's our job now to ensure that our institutions are able to meet the new capacities and to do so with modernized facilities. Our students deserve it, that can compete on every level with their predominantly white counterparts. And although we're still fighting for a lot of things. I have some people to tell me, I thought we had the right to vote. Well, we still got some things to do with the Voting Rights Act, and hopefully we can get in and do that. So we're still fighting for the right to learn, for our history to be taught, for voting rights, and the right to the very principles of American freedom that the Constitution already promises. And I want you to know, Tuskegee family, that I'm going to continue to pay it forward so that future generations can stand where I stand and where many of you have stood and are standing today. Because somebody once said that a community can only grow great, an HBCU community, when old men and old women plant trees under which we know we will never sit. So it will be those young people that follow who will benefit from the shade that we will leave behind. So thank you for having me here today. Thank you to this wonderful community and university. May the Lord continue to bless each and every one of you. God bless.
Because the Lord is my shepherd, I have everything I need. He lets me rest in the meadow's grass, and he leads me beside the quiet stream. He restores my failing health, and he helps me to do what honors him the most. That's why I'm safe. That's why you're safe. That's why I'm safe. I'm safe in his arms. Because the Lord is my shepherd, I have everything I need. He lets me rest in the meadow's grass, and he leads me beside the quiet stream. He restores my failing health, and he helps me to do what honors him the most. That's why I'm safe. That's why you're gonna be safe. That's why I'm safe, safe in his arms. When the storm of life is raging and the billows, they begin to roll. When the storm of life is raging, oh, and those billows, they begin to roll, and I'm so glad he shall hide me. Oh, I'm so safe. I'm so safe. You're so safe. We're gonna make it out all right. Oh, you're so safe. Oh my God, you're so safe. I thank you, God, you're so safe. Oh, I'm safe, so safe in his arms.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's hard coming up here after that song to the platform guest, Dr. Adams. We come to the part of our program where we're going to introduce our Alumni Merit Award recipients. This year, our committee was kind of torn, so they decided that we would have 2 recipients because it was kind of difficult to make a distinction between the 2. So our first recipient, as she comes forward, Ms. Karen Dyson. And I'm not going to read to you what's in the program. She has a very short bio, as well as Dr. McConnell, and I could probably have a book written about both of them. I'm just going to make 1 or 2 comments about Ms. Dyson. As the students know, whenever you receive Procter & Gamble products on campus, whether it's toilet paper, detergent, deodorant, sanitary products, guess where they come from? Miss Lily Lanier contacted Ms. Dyson last year. Ms. Lily Lanier, who is the former president of the Tuskegee National Alumni Association, contacted Ms. Dyson because the food pantry needed some items
So she contacted Ms. Dyson, and within probably weeks, there were crates of products from Procter & Gamble to stock the food pantry. But anytime we ask Karen for anything, she always says yes. Whether it's for students, whether it's for alumni supporting any events that we have. And I kind of got in trouble from her this year because I did not ask her to sponsor the alumni tent for homecoming. But I'm asking now for next year.
Yes.
So if Dr. Brown and the president of the Alumni Association, Reverend Quincy, if you can come forward so we can present Ms. Dyson with her award. And the award reads, Alumni Merit Award, Karen L. Dyson, in recognition of your service as a distinguished alumna, dedicated engineer, and loyal supporter, awarded this 10th day of November, 2024.
First, I'd like to say thank you, a big thanks to the selection committee. I am absolutely humbled by this recognition. I'm also honored, just honored to be a proud daughter of Tuskegee University, but more importantly, a server of Mother Tuskegee. So again, thank you so much.
And I did forget to mention the many students that Karen recruits for Tuskegee University. So I have members from my class probably before us, and classes after us that have gone on to work for Procter & Gamble. Our second recipient is Dr. Irvin McConnell. And as Dr. McConnell comes up, as many of you know, Dr. McConnell is a doctor of veterinary medicine. And he too, anytime I call on him for whatever, whether it's veterinary related or not, he always says yes. And if he doesn't have a way, he's going to find a way. And as many of you know, Dr. McConnell is responsible for the new gas station that will be opened at exit 38. And not only that, he also has property in Tuskegee and is always encouraging people to invest in not only Tuskegee University, but the city of Tuskegee to grow our community. So once again, I'm going to ask Dr. Brown and Dr. Quincy if they'll come forward to present Dr. McConnell with his award. And his reads, the Alumni Merit Award, Dr. Irvin W. McConnell, in recognition of your service as a distinguished alumnus, dedicated veterinarian, and loyal supporter, awarded this 10th day of November, 2024. And before Dr. McConnell comes to the mic, I would like to recognize Mrs. Dyson's husband, if he'll stand, please. And Dr. McConnell's wife, if she'll stand, please.
My wife told me not to do this, but if I could just take a few minutes, because I need to share a story with you guys. But the first thing I need to do, this is a church, and normally I would just greet the church, and instead of like talking about faculty and platform, this is my family. And Dr. Adams is here, and I need to let her know that now she is part of our family. So the alumni know me going into meetings and trying to raise money for the school. And what I'm going to do today is give Dr. Adams a Booker T. Washington coin. So she is now part of the family. So she is part of the family now. But I just got I made some notes. My wife told me not to do this, but you know, if the president would just, you know, allow me to do this, and if I need to buy a vowel or buy some time, let me know, and my wife will write a check. Again, I am deeply honored and grateful to receive the Tuskegee University Alumni Merit Award, being recognized by the institution that has not only shaped my career, but also my character is a humbling experience. I really, really mean that. This award is a testament of the dedicated mentors, starting out with TNAA. Gladys Hubbard, some of these names you guys will know and not know, but they're still around. Lily Lanier, Solomon Banks. Is Solomon around? Yeah. Okay. Paul Jones, Procter & Gamble. Elaine Harrington, sitting right here in the front. Some of you know Matt Jenkins, new Matt, Adam McKee, Bill Watson, just to name a few. But when you look at the faculty, and this is why it's real important to me, you guys change our lives. And, you know, many times, you know, we don't say thank you. So I'm very much telling you thank you right now. Dr. O.P. Verma, who was here when I was in school, gave me a work-study job. And I was working on prostaglandins, PGF2 alpha, on uterine contractions out at Moulton Field. And now I own my own research company because of that. We support universities, pharmaceutical companies, and the federal government because of that chance that he gave me. There was a reason for these journeys here at Tuskegee. Dr. Biswa, who is still around today in Tuskegee, told me how to buy my first house. And this is a faculty member, and he and I were talking about housing, and I said, man, you know, the house in Tuskegee only costs like $25,000. So I could get a school loan and pay the down payment. I know that wasn't the right thing to do, but it made good business sense. So I bought my first house when I was in school here. But the story gets better though. Because of that, today, my wife and I bought a whole block in Tuskegee. And these were houses that people would not even look at. And you go down that block today, we have revamped that whole block. I got the city working with me. We're going to change this city. I'm just looking for more alumni, and let's do an HDTV here. We can do that, okay. So, Dean Bowie, who was the dean of the veterinary school when I was here, I was one of those kids that failed. He gave me a second chance. With that second chance, I joined the military because I had to find funding to get through school. So the school had a program where it's called a health profession scholarship program. And then I realized once I got that scholarship, I said, man, school is really easy because I didn't have to worry about that next meal. I didn't have to, worry about, anything because I had a full ride to get through veterinary school. And then I started realizing, man, if I just help some of these other kids, they won't have to struggle. So it's important for us to give back and create these scholarship programs to help our kids. We only got 3,000 kids here, so why can't we get 3,000 scholarships for these kids? That's not a lot. And with that, I became a full bird colonel in the U.S. military, special operations, airborne, and you guys didn't even know a Tuskegee veterinarian saved the Baghdad Zoo in Operation Iraqi Freedom. And that's what I learned from Tuskegee. So let me tell you about the real Tuskegee, this small moment. Mrs. Young, and some of you don't know who Mrs. Young was, but when I stepped on campus, people said, man, that's Sammy Young's mother. So those of you that don't know the story on Sammy Young, take a peek later on and read that story, because she taught me about sacrifice without saying a word. Sacrifice without saying a word. So read the story on Sammy Young, who was killed at the Greyhound station in Tuskegee back around 1966. Miss Helen Dibble, Dr. Dibble's wife on Bibb Street, gave me a job in the archives. I needed a job. And, you know, so many people helped me when I got here. It's just amazing. You know, I see Van Sapp here, and, you know, I knew him as a little kid, but I knew his dad, and his family lived on Bibb Street, and I met families that helped me get through the system here. So when I was working in archives, I was reading letters by Carver and Booker T, and then I realized, man, his handwriting was worse than mine. Yeah. But those writings spoke to my soul. I learned my Black history being here, reading those letters. And then there was Cornell Tatum, who lived on Colbert Street, inviting this hungry student home for bologna sandwiches on white bread. And that was gourmet dining for a college student. But I do not eat bologna sandwiches now. I just don't. And Mrs. Felder, you guys know Mr. Felder that worked here? She washed my clothes so I could focus on studying. So inspiring peers and a resilient community at Tuskegee have supported me throughout my journey. You see, Tuskegee taught me something I'll never forget. When someone needs lifting up, you extend your hand. You know, we talked about Exit 38. So when that's why, like, years later, when our community was hurting from a failed business at Exit 38, the McConnell family, and I had to talk to my wife about this and get her blessing, we just didn't shake our heads. We shook things up. We brought the exit. We brought the exit. And then the building, and then we partnered with Warren Buffett, the Warren Buffett, to bring Pilot here. It's going to bring $1.5 million to this town every single year. That's going to be a game changer. So the day I left Tuskegee, I started living my dream. And let me tell you something funny. Decades later, I'm still living that same dream, only now it's in high definition with a little more gray hair. So to the young folks here today, this just isn't an award speech. Just isn't. It's a testimony to what happens when a community believes in you, when your future seems unclear, but your determination stays strong. Tuskegee University didn't shape my career. It made me who I am today. Thank you so much.
Okay, now we've come to the part of the program where we recognize our classes. Do we have a representative from the class of 2014? Please come up. And as she's coming up, if we have a representative from the class of 2009, you can come to the front. 2004, 1999, 1994, 1989. They can start making their way up to the front, please. Dr. Brown? No, you just want to tell Dr. Brown your amount.
Good morning, Dr. Brown. My name is Tyler Morgan. I'm an attorney in St. Louis, Missouri. This is Dr. Shayla Perry, and we are the class officers of the class of 2014. And on behalf of our class,
Oh, they can't hear you.
I can probably project. That's probably better anyway. Okay. All right.
Speak into the mic.
All right. Okay. Can you hear me now?
But give us some stuff on. It's not.
What about now?
Okay, use this one.
I'll just use this. It's okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'll start from the top. Good morning, Dr. Brown. My name is Attorney Tyler Morgan, and this is Dr. Shaylin Williams. We are the class officers of the class of 2014, and it brings us a great honor to be able to present this check in the amount of $31,230.22.
The class, I don't think we have anyone from the class of 2009, but their total is $47,224.67.
Good morning. I am Letitia Dix, and I am Latasha Dix. We are the class agents for the class of 2004. And while we are few in attendance today, we are great in our love and support for Mother Tuskegee. Dr. Brown, on behalf of the class of 2004, we would like to present you with a check in the amount of $44,692.17, with more to come.
If there are members of the class of 2014 here, if you'll stand. The class of 2004, if you'll stand. The class of 1999.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Marcus Cooper. I'm representing the class of 99. I would like to take this time to have my classmates stand up and be recognized. Thank you for being here to represent our class. Thank you for representing the ones that couldn't be here, so thank you very much. And for the class of 99, I'm here to present a check to you, Dr. Brown, for $86,045.79.
$94.
Good morning. Will the class member of 1994 please stand up for me? I cannot speak for any other class, but we have a class that They like to tailgate, so they still out there tailgating. And some of them had to go home because they had to go to work and they have church responsibilities. So on behalf of the class of 1994, I am blessed to present a check for $53,145.49.
Good morning. My name is Demetrius Conyers, and I'm the class agent for the class of 1989. Will my classmates please stand? Dr. Brown, on behalf of the class of 1989, we present a gift for the amount of $45,863.71.
Dr. Brown, that is a total of $308,202.55.
We have one more presentation this morning. Will Ms. Alma Ivy Clark and Dr. Loretta Hicks come to the front, please? And they are with the fall 1974 line of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Gamma Kappa Chapter.
This is a presentation.
So I don't know about the rest of you, but this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But first of all, we want to extend our condolences to the Tuskegee family and the community, and especially to the family with the loss of life and those who have been injured. So we extend our heartfelt condolences, first of all. So, to President and Mrs. Brown, to Ms. Clayton and the Board of Trustees, honored guests, especially Congresswoman Adams, who I had the honor of meeting at the gala, in the spring. To the Tuskegee University students, faculty, staff, supporters and friends, and of course our fellow alumni. The Golden Saras of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and Tuskegee University's Gamma Kappa chapter, we are honored today, yesterday, and this entire weekend to be here to honor, first, our ancestors, to Booker T. Washington, his leadership, and those of our past 9 presidents and their leadership team. We honor them all. To the leaders of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority as a Golden Soror, I like show and tell. Our Golden Sorors, and those who are not part of our line but may also be celebrating their Golden Soror year, and also to Gamma Kappa, which really brought us together as sisters and now sorors. We cannot thank you enough. But we also honor today, out of the 16 on our line, we lost 1, and we honor her and include her in this presentation today. Not only her, but the handsome gentleman that escorted us during our time, who we too have lost. We honor him today as well. So we join you and they join you in spirit as we donate. We make 2 donations today. We make one to the Tuskegee University Food Pantry for our students in the sum of $2,516.
Before I present the second gift to Tuskegee, I would like to do a little keeping. Dr. Brown, when you were in Dayton, Ohio about 2 weeks ago, you and Reverend Quincy, I came to you with a trivial thing. My eminent associate pen never worked. It was broken. So I took it to our president, and I told him that my pen was broken. He said, put your information here in my phone. And I told him we were coming here for homecoming, did I not? And he said to me, I guarantee you will have your pen before you come to homecoming, and I did. So thank you. I offered that up for 2 reasons. One, we have something special in Dr. Brown. How many college presidents would take the time with all he has going on in his life for this institution to settle something like this? So, Dr. Brown, you're the world. Also, while he was in Dayton to speak at our fundraiser, our annual fundraiser, he offered several stories. One was the fact that we had about 400 students who had come to Tuskegee and did not have enough money. He sent out an SOS to all the alums. Some of you all got that same SOS. Some of us responded, some of us just go into your hearts and dig deeper. He was able to satisfy all but 40 of those students. And so I was so filled with his speech until I knew about the presentation to the food bank. But with the sorors of Alpha Kappa Alpha line 1974 fall, please stand. Because we had already given Dr. Brown for the food pantry. But after you, on that Sunday, I got on that Zoom call and I said, look, you guys, we got to do better than this. I said, we've got students who need our help. We all had help when we were here. And so just this line, Dr. Brown, we were able to raise $10,016.74.
And our total giving for today will be $12,532.74. So congratulations to our SARA Congressman Adams and to our SARA, of course, Kamala Harris, for 67 million supporters, which included us.
All right, how about that? How about all of those donations? Wow. Congresswoman Adams, before you step back to North Carolina, could I ask you to go right out front of the center of this stage, please? I'd be glad to escort you there. And if we could bring out our podium here. Yep, just go this way. Congresswoman, I know that you know your history, so I'll go quick on this one. But on 15 April 1922, sculptor Charles Keck dedicated the Booker T. Washington Monument entitled Lifting the Veil of Ignorance to the Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute campus. Nearly a century following the initial dedication, layers of grime, dirt, and other contaminants tarnished the original finishment of the monument. In 2018, Tuskegee offered their services with the contractor to restore the statue. When alumni and photographers that are with you today, Ernest L. Foster II, an aerospace engineering major from Tuskegee, class of 1977, and Jacqueline M. Foster, computer science class of 1999 of Family Visions, returned to Mother Tuskegee for what else? Homecoming, 2018. They created this rendition of the visual image entitled Lifted. Please lift the veil. Usually, when people take a picture of the monument, the focus is specifically on Booker T. Washington. However, as graduates of the university, their emphasis was placed on the portrayal of the veils being lifted from the diligent sons and daughters of Booker T. Washington, the same veils that you lift for us every day in Washington, D.C. The Foster's image was copyrighted with the Library of Congress on 21 April 2019 and is currently being sold as a limited edition. Today, we are happy to present Congresswoman Adams with print number 22 of only 100. Thank you. We will get that to you. Thank you very much.
It is true this morning that our hearts are broken. and we're reminded of the importance and the fragility of life. We all need an anchor. We all need a guide. I have what I call my own personal life verse, which is trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. Acknowledge him in all your ways, and he will direct your path. It is in moments like these that we need to be reminded not to stand on our own understanding. Because in a moment like this, I don't have understanding. I can only rely on my faith. And my prayer for our entire family, this community, as we close out this marvelous family reunion that we shared this week, remind us of our faith, of the importance of our faith walk. And most importantly, because of that faith walk and that trust in God, that we have resiliency in the time of trouble. I will leave it there because I think Omari did a marvelous job. Of contextualizing this moment so our prayers continue. I am the Reverend Dr. James P. Quincy III. I am the 17th president of the Tuskegee National Alumni Association, and I also served as the 25th president of the Tuskegee Student Government Association. Clearly many, many years ago. Don't do the math. It is my pleasure this morning to be here to give remarks on this auspicious occasion. To Congresswoman Adams, thank you so much for everything that you do for everybody all the time. And to our dear President, Dr. Brown, and our chair of our board, and our chaplain, and all the platform guests. I have the honor of being president of the National Alumni Association at the centennial moment of our homecoming. I have the honor of being the first president of the Tuskegee National Alumni Association to have as a part of my constituency the president of the Tuskegee National Alumni Association. And so I'm honored to be here today. I want to acknowledge, if you don't mind, members of our association, please, to our Alumni Merit Award recipients, would you please stand again and take a bow? These are two of the most dedicated members of our Alumni Association and of our institution. I'm going to ask if any former presidents of the Tuskegee National Alumni Association, if you are here, would you please stand? Any of our former national presidents? Mr. Solomon, Ms. Lanier, Mr. Burke, Rowe. To the executive board of the Tuskegee National Alumni Association, would you please stand? As was mentioned, Dr. Brown sent out a SOS, and so many members of our alumni contributed in so many ways. Our executive board met, and we voted to bring a check for $50,000 plus a direct donation of $4,000 for a total of $54,000 to the SOS program. But our professional organizations, including the band and others, made major contributions as well, and I want to acknowledge that as well at this time. Dr. Brown, when we met for our executive board meeting this past week, the Dean of Students came in and shared her whole design for the Tiger Den. And we don't always do this, but for some reason, at some point, we not only were able to vote in that meeting, but we also were able to get the paperwork done in that meeting, and we presented her with a check for $5,000 for the Tiger Den, plus another $1,000 from one of our members, amen, to bless the Tiger Den and make sure none of our students go hungry. So, Dr. Dean. We also made a donation to the Student Government Association in the amount of $100 at that meeting as well. And so we are pleased. This is the work that we must do. To the members, any club presidents from across the nation, if you are one of our club presidents, would you please stand so everyone can see you, because you do the work every day on the ground. I see you. It is in moments like these that we are reminded that it is time for us to turn the page. And we commit, Dr. Brown, to you today that we will work harder than we ever have, that we will extend the membership of this organization, that we will get to our goal of reaching the number of individuals who are donors to our university. So every time you go out, you can go out with your head held high, knowing that the Tuskegee alumni is with you. And so if you agree with me, all the alumni in the house, would you just stand? If you agree that we're all gonna make it happen, we're gonna all do what we're supposed to do, we're gonna make sure that our alumni giving percentage is off the charts. Our theme for the next 2 years is Together We Can. And we believe that together we can make a difference. And so if you are in this room or you're watching the live stream and you are an alum of Tuskegee University and you have not made a contribution to this university, you can make a contribution to this, let me flip that. Make a contribution to this university before December 31st. I want everyone to go to your QR codes, go to the website, tuskegee.edu, and make a contribution now. We get so caught up in the fact that we can't do 10,000 or 2 million. But back when Booker T. Washington was here, he tells a story that there was a woman who came to him. And she said, "Mr. President, I don't have much." She said, "All I has is these 6 eggs. And I'm going to give you these 6 eggs to put towards the education of these children." Notice the dialect change. She had 6 eggs and she gave what she had to make a difference. To whom much is given, much is required. And it doesn't take a whole lot. It just takes a whole lot of us doing our very best. My prayer is that we will take this challenge and that by the end of this week, they'll see the numbers staggering up from the alumni from across the nation, reminding Dr. Brown of how much we support him, but how much we love Mother Tuskegee. Together, we can, the Tuskegee way. God bless you. TU. God bless you, everybody.
All right, there were thoughts that maybe we shouldn't have the convocation this morning. I think they were wrong. I will tell you to all of my staff and all of the friends here today, hold your head up. The devil's not going to win on these sacred grounds. Tuskegee is going to win. Tuskegee is still going to win, just as we always have. Just as we always have. Before we sing the Tuskegee song and have our ending prayer here, I want to recognize my partner in all of this, my wife of 34 years, sweetie, if you'll stand, Gwendolyn Brown. And then as we begin the Tuskegee song, I want to again thank each and every one of you for being bold enough to come in today, to be here this weekend, to invest in your university. And I want you to know that you have my word. We are not going to let you down. We are not going to let you down. God bless you and God bless you.
asked that we allow the platform party and others who processed in to recess before we all dismiss. Let's now receive the benediction. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up the light of his countenance upon you and give you peace. That the people of God say amen. Amen.